My family said my girlfriend was too ugly for me, that I'm just depressed and desperate. They laughed about it after she left dinner. She thought they liked her. Now I have to choose. Break her heart with the truth, or let her keep loving people who secretly hate her. They smiled. They laughed at her jokes. My mom even hugged her when she left. My girlfriend walked out of that dinner absolutely glowing, thinking she'd made a great first impression on my family. That was Saturday. By Monday, they were calling her a sympathy pick. I'm 24. She's 22. We've only been dating for about 10 days. Yeah, I know, way too early to bring someone to a family dinner. But my parents invited us, and I thought, why not? Things with her felt different, calmer, lighter. I hadn't felt this connected to someone in a long time. She's got these quiet eyes. You know, the type, like they're constantly listening, even when you're not speaking. She laughs with her whole body, tucks her hair behind her ear when she's nervous. It's not flashy, not Glamour magazine beautiful. But when I look at her, I see someone. Not a model, not a trophy. Person who sees me back. And that's the thing. She's not traditionally attractive. And I don't care. I really, genuinely don't. I think she's beautiful. I think she's magnetic in a way no one else has ever been. When I look at her across the couch in her oversized hoodie, I feel safe. Home even. Saturday night, I watched her charm the pants off my entire family. At least, that's what I thought. My dad poured her a second glass of wine. My sister asked where she bought her shoes. My mother complimented her voice, said she sounded like someone who should read audiobooks. I remember thinking, wow, this might actually work. But then Monday came. I stopped by my parents' house to drop something off. I wasn't even planning to stay long, just a quick visit. But the second I walked in, the air was weird, like the tail end of a private joke. My mom was in the kitchen with my aunt. My dad was in the living room half watching golf. They all had this look, like they'd been holding something back. And then my aunt broke the silence. So, she's sweet, but really? My mom put down her glass. I mean, I thought maybe you were just lonely, but you're still seeing her. Still seeing her. Like that's a shame. I asked what they meant. I thought maybe I was misreading it. But no, my mom didn't hold back. She leaned on the island and gave me this soft, rehearsed pity face. Honey, she said, we love you. You've been through a lot. The breakup with Hannah hit you hard. And we know you've been feeling low. You've had therapy, medication, the job stress. So maybe you're just not seeing clearly right now. I blinked. Not seeing clearly. My girlfriend, the girl who sat across from them, trying so hard to fit in. The one who asked my dad about his back pain and offered to bring gluten-free brownies next time for my sister. The one who left glowing, thinking she'd been accepted. And they're saying I'm mentally unwell for liking her. You don't think she's a little plain? My aunt added. For someone like you? I asked what that meant. What does someone like me mean? And my dad, usually the silent one, just shrugged. You're tall, decent job, smart. You could do better. He said it so casually, like he was commenting on car models. That's when I realized something else, something worse. They hadn't just been tolerating her. They'd been laughing about her, behind closed doors, probably right after we left. She wore that dress like it was a costume, my mom whispered, like she was playing dress up. Then the kicker. She's the kind of girl you settle for, not the kind you bring home. I left. No big scene. Just walked out. I sat in my car for a long time, trying to breathe through this weight pressing on my chest. I couldn't figure out what hurt more, their cruelty or the fact that she doesn't know. She still texts me about how much she enjoyed that night, how warm my family felt. She's even sending me Pinterest links to pumpkin pie recipes because my dad mentioned he missed my grandma's. She's planning to impress people who are secretly mocking her. So now I'm stuck. Do I tell her the truth? Do I break her heart by telling her that the people she tried so hard to impress laughed about her lipstick shade? Said she looked like she was playing pretend? Said I must be depressed to want her? Or do I lie? Do I let her believe they liked her? Do I protect her self-esteem at the cost of her dignity? Part of me says I owe her the truth, because the alternative is crueler. It's letting her bond with people who think she's beneath me, who will never see her as worthy, who will smile to her face and whisper behind her back. But the other part, the weak part, it doesn't want to watch her crumble. It doesn't want to be the one who shatters that glow she left with. So I haven't told her yet. I lie by omission every time I reply with a heart emoji to her dinner recap texts. Every time I say, Yeah, they loved you. Because I can't bear to break her spirit. She looks at me like I'm a good man. If I tell her, she might look at me like I'm a traitor. Because who lets someone walk into a room full of smiling wolves and doesn't say anything? I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm standing at a cliff's edge. Either I jump and shatter her world, or I back away and let her walk into the fire. There's no clean option here. Only damage. Edit 1. To everyone DMing and commenting. I hear you. Loud and clear. Tell her the truth. Don't let her love people who secretly hate her. You're right, but you weren't there. You didn't see her eyes that night. You didn't see the relief. She kept squeezing my hand under the table like she was finally accepted. She wants to belong somewhere. What happens when I tell her there's no place for her in that room? Update coming. I think I'm going to tell her, but I don't know if she'll stay. First update. I told her. Last night. Around 11:30 p.m. She was sitting cross-legged on my bed, hair damp from a shower, scrolling through photos she wanted to send to my mom from the dinner, because she actually believed my mom would want them. She'd spent the entire evening making a playlist for Thanksgiving dinner in case we got invited again. It was labeled Cozy Vibes with the Fam. She had no idea, and I just couldn't keep pretending. I asked her to put down her phone, told her I needed to say something. She tilted her head, playful at first, like she thought I was about to say something sweet or cheesy. Then she saw my face. I could see her mouth move to ask, "What's wrong?" But I beat her to it. I told her everything. Not in a cruel way. Not in a rage. Just calmly. Like I was trying to describe a dream I just had and didn't want to forget. I told her what my aunt said. What my mom said. What my dad shrugged. I left nothing out. I told her about the sympathy pick comment. About the playing dress-up dig. About how they think I'm too unwell to know what I want. And I'll never forget the look on her face. It didn't crumple. It didn't twist in anger. It didn't even fall apart. It just blanked, like someone had pulled the power from her eyes. She sat there for a long time, perfectly still. Then slowly, she reached for her phone and quietly deleted the playlist. She didn't cry. She asked one question. Did you agree with them? I swear my heart stopped. I couldn't believe she had to ask that. I said no. 100 times no. I told her she was beautiful, smart, good, that I'd never felt this seen by anyone. But I also knew those words wouldn't erase what she just heard. She looked at me like I changed. Not because of what I said, but because I hadn't said it sooner. She stood up, walked to the bathroom, closed the door. No slamming, no yelling, just a soft click. And that was somehow worse. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the spot where her phone had been. 5 minutes passed, then 10. I could hear her breathing through the door. When she came out, she had her bag over her shoulder. She didn't say she was leaving me. She didn't say she hated me. She just said, I need to think. And she walked out. It's been 14 hours. She hasn't texted. Not once. And I get it. I handed her a sledgehammer and pointed at her reflection. I keep replaying the dinner in my head. How she reached for the salad first. The way she laughed at my dad's dry jokes. How my mom offered her that lavender tea she saves for important guests. I think about how her voice lit up when she told them about her art history minor. She actually thanked me afterward for letting her into the circle. And now she knows it was never a circle. Just a spotlight on a trapdoor. I called my mom this morning. She acted surprised, confused, like she was the victim. You told her what we said? Why would you do that? I said, because I love her. And there was this long pause. Then, with this sharp, cutting exhale, she said, well, if that's the kind of woman you love, maybe we didn't raise you as well as we thought. That's when I hung up. No yelling, no lecture, just done. I don't know if I can forgive them for this. I don't know if she'll forgive me either. But I know one thing. I'd rather lose my family than lie to her again. I checked her Instagram this afternoon. She hasn't posted, but her profile picture is gone. Just a blank circle now. She hasn't blocked me, but she hasn't said a word. My biggest fear? Not that she's angry, but that she's disappointed in me for not shielding her from that dinner. Because deep down, I think she suspects I already knew what my family would do. And she's right. I hoped naively, stupidly, that they'd surprise me. That they'd see what I saw. But I knew. And I brought her anyway. That's the betrayal she's trying to swallow. And honestly, I don't blame her. Edit 1. Yes, I know I did the right thing by telling her. But timing matters. The wound I gave her wasn't just truth, it was delayed truth. And delayed truth feels a lot like betrayal in disguise. Second update. She texted. 3 days of silence. Then just after 1 a.m. my phone buzzed once. One line. Can we meet somewhere that doesn't feel like yours or mine? We met at a park. The kind with old benches, broken streetlights, and a fountain that hasn't worked since before the pandemic. She sat on the swing. Hoodie pulled over her head. No makeup. Hair in a messy knot. Like she hadn't looked in a mirror since the dinner. And somehow she looked more beautiful than she ever had. She didn't look angry. She looked smaller. Like a balloon that's been slowly losing air since Saturday. She didn't ask how I was. Didn't ask if I was okay. She just stared at the sand under her feet and asked, did they ever like me? At any point. I didn't lie. I told her the truth. That they were polite. That they smiled. That maybe some of them wanted to like her. But the second we walked out the door, they turned into something else. Something cold. Something shallow. She nodded like she already knew. Then said, I thought your mom and I had a moment. She touched my hand when I complimented her ring. She smiled. She was performing, I said. They all were. And that's when I saw it. The break. Not a tear. Not a scream. Just this quiet quake that passed through her body like an aftershock. I liked her, she whispered. I wanted her to like me back. And I didn't know what to say. Because no apology in the world can reverse what it feels like to beg for love you were never going to get. She stayed with me that night. Not like that. She slept on my couch. Curled up in my hoodie. Said she didn't want to be alone but also couldn't stand the idea of lying in my bed just yet. The next morning, she was gone. She left a note. One sentence. I believe you love me. But I also believe they don't. And that's when the war began. Between me and them. Between the family I grew up in and the woman who makes me want to be better. I called my sister, thought maybe she'd understand. Maybe she'd defend her. She said, you can't expect everyone to lower their standards just because you did. I called my aunt. She laughed and said, sweetheart, you're young. You'll find someone you're proud to bring home one day. My dad? He just sighed and said, you're blowing this out of proportion. She's not wife material. Be honest, you knew that. No, I didn't. But now I know you're not father material. So I cut them off. All of them. Every last one. Blocked their numbers. Muted their emails. Removed myself from the Thanksgiving group chat that my mom renamed just us this year before I could even leave it. And then I called her. Told her I'd done it. Told her I picked her. Her voice broke when she said, you shouldn't have to. I said no, but I wanted to. That night she came over. We didn't talk about them. We watched bad TV. Ate cold pasta. Fell asleep on the floor like kids hiding from something just out of view. And for a moment, things felt okay. But life doesn't stay still. Not when people feel like you embarrassed them. 2 days later, I got a text from an unknown number. One of those family friends who acts like a second mom until you do something uncouth. I heard what happened. Such a shame. You used to have such good taste. Then came the group texts. Not to me. To her. From cousins. From mutuals. Even from my sister. Passive-aggressive poison disguised as concern. Are you okay? We know he's been struggling lately. It's not your fault. Some guys just settle when they feel insecure. My girlfriend didn't respond. She didn't show me the messages right away. She waited until they sent one that said, if you really loved him, you'd let him go. That's when she broke. That's when she screamed. Not at me. Just into the room. Into the walls. She threw her phone. Cried in a way I've never seen anyone cry. Like every word was a stone in her chest, dragging her deeper. She said, they're never going to stop. Are they? I didn't have an answer. Because the truth? No, they're not. As long as she's with me, she'll be a target in their eyes. A blemish on the family brand. Unless we do something drastic. Unless we disappear. She asked if we could move. Not out of the city, just far enough. Somewhere our names don't echo off the same dinner party walls. Somewhere my mother's disapproval doesn't sneak in through the windows. Somewhere we can build something they can't reach. And I said yes. Because I don't want to fix this. I want to leave it behind. And maybe, just maybe, that's the only real fix there is. Final update. We moved. 3 weeks ago. Same city, different zip code. A quiet, overgrown neighborhood where the sidewalks crack with weeds and no one knows your last name. Our new apartment smells like dust and paint thinner, but it's ours. No one here knows who my family is. No one here looks at her with that fake smile stretched too tight across their face. We bought second-hand furniture off a woman named Letty who gave us iced tea and told us we looked like two people trying to be brave. We didn't correct her. She was right. The first night, we sat on the floor eating noodles out of paper bowls and watching a cracked ceiling fan turn slow circles. My girlfriend, God, I need to stop calling her that. Her name is Mara, leaned against me and whispered, this feels like a bunker. I said, maybe we need one. And she nodded. We've been rebuilding in the silence ever since. But silence doesn't keep them away. You'd be surprised how fast your absence becomes a scandal. My mom posted a missing son message on Facebook. Not like literally missing. No. This one was coded. A photo of me from college with a caption that read, some journeys pull us apart, but a mother's love is patient. Always here, always waiting. Hashtag family first, hashtag love wins eventually. Comments flooded in. Oh no, what happened? Praying for reconciliation. Kids today just don't value blood anymore. No one asked why we weren't speaking. No one asked what she said about Mara. No one ever does. 2 weeks after we moved, my dad showed up at my old job. Not to talk. Just to be seen. Walked in, asked for a coffee he didn't drink, and sat in the corner scrolling his phone. My manager asked, "Hey, your dad's here? Should I say something?" I said, "He's not my dad right now." He left 15 minutes later. Didn't say a word. 3 days after that, my sister emailed Mara. Not me. Mara. It was a PDF attachment. A spreadsheet. I wish I were joking. A literal spreadsheet of things you're not, with side-by-side comparisons between Mara and the girl I dated before her, Hannah. College, career, fashion sense, presentability. There were even screenshots of Hannah's Instagram posts marked with check marks like she was being graded. At the bottom, my sister had written, "This isn't about looks. It's about legacy. Legacy. Like I'm some antique vase passed down to be displayed properly." Mara didn't cry. She laughed. This short, sharp, awful sound I've never heard come out of her before. Then she forwarded the email to me with one sentence. "Your family thinks I'm furniture." And she wasn't wrong. But this is where the story shifts. Because something changed after that. Something in Mara. She stopped hiding. She started writing back. Not to them. Not directly. But through art. Mara's an illustrator. Quiet stuff. Little comics. She used to post anonymously. Small followers, small stakes. But after the spreadsheet, she drew something and uploaded it to her main account. It was called The Girlfriend They Couldn't Rebrand. A black and white strip of a woman walking into a room full of mannequins in pearls, each whispering behind painted-on smiles. In every frame, they offer her masks, prettier faces, taller heels, softer voices. She refuses each one. The last panel is her lighting the whole showroom on fire. It went viral. Over 60,000 likes. Tens of thousands of comments. People started sharing their stories. Girls who were told they were fine, just not good enough. Women whose boyfriends' mothers called them too smart or not polished. People who were polite disappointments. It broke something open. For Mara. For me. Because for the first time since the dinner, she wasn't ashamed. She wasn't trying to fit. She was dragging the whole blueprint into the light. Then came the letter. Handwritten. No return address. But we knew who it was from. My mother's handwriting is pristine. Catholic school cursive. The kind that makes every sentence feel like a psalm. She wrote 6 pages. Told me how much she missed me. How she didn't intend to sound judgmental. How a mother always knows when her child is spiraling. She said Mara was clearly sensitive and that I was compromising your future for a phase. She called Mara a wedge. She called our apartment temporary rebellion. She ended with, "You're better than this. We didn't raise you to settle for someone who belongs to a different class of people." Mara read it first, then handed it to me like she was passing a scalpel. I didn't say anything. I burned it. On the balcony. Didn't even read the last page. Just watched the ashes curl. This week, Mara told me she doesn't want to go back to just dating. She asked if we could make this permanent. Not a proposal. Not yet. Just something more. I asked what she meant. She said, "Let's get a dog." That's how I knew she still had hope. You don't bring life into a bunker unless you think one day it won't need to be one. We picked a rescue from the shelter downtown. Half lab, half question mark. One floppy ear, one ear that sticks straight up like it's listening for lies. We named her Clarity. She sleeps between us now. And every time I look at her, I remember what Mara said the night we brought her home. Your family built a house out of performance. We're building one out of defiance. And I knew she was right. Because that's the thing. I didn't lose my family. They lost me. They lost the version of me who would have nodded along while they shredded someone I loved. They lost the kid who thought acceptance was earned through silence. And what did I gain? A partner who refuses to be repackaged. A dog who refuses to listen. And a life that no longer fits in their photo albums. So no. I won't be going to Thanksgiving. But thanks for the invite, Mom. You can toast the air where I used to sit. We'll be too busy teaching Clarity how to sit and stay. Because some families are given. Others are chosen. And the ones we choose? We defend. To the end.